Hello and welcome back to UIinsight. In this episode, I'd like to talk about feedback in application design. In this case, we will use the example of a virus checking piece of software and some problems it has communicating the results of the scan. So let's take a look at that. So in Explorer, this is a Windows environment, I navigate to the directory that I'm interested in scanning. I right-click on that and I get this menu. And the choice is scan for threats. So I select that. And this window opens and it looks reasonable enough. It's telling me it's doing an on-demand scan. It's moving some icons of some pages underneath that magnifying glass. So everything looks pretty good. Looks like it's working like I need it to. And here it's communicating some progress. It's got the progress bar about halfway across. It's showing me the files it's working on. Again, everything looks good. Here we're nearly finished. And here we are. It looks like it's done. The pause and the stop button are disabled, so I can't click on them to pause it or stop it, so I imagine it's done. The animation has stopped. The progress bar is all the way over to the right. The question is, what are the results? What is it telling me it found? Because all I want to know, having run this thing, is do I have any viruses in any of those files in that directory? I could close the window, but I don't want to do that. I don't know my results yet. There's a properties button. Maybe I have to click on that. Let's take a look at that. It doesn't look like I'm in the right place. That's not telling me what I want, so let's get out of there. So where's the beef? Where are the results of this scan? If you look really closely at the bottom of that window, we have our answer. In the lower left-hand corner, it says nothing found. In the lower right-hand corner, it says detection 0. So that is what we were looking for. But think about this. Of all the pixels in that relatively large window, this application is only using 2% of those pixels to tell the user the result of the scan, which of course is silly. It should be much more obvious. Let's take a look at that window again. Nothing found and detection 0, those are really subtle. They're very easy to miss. You can imagine a novice user being confounded, not knowing what the results of the scan are. So a really good principle in interface design, I use this all the time. I'm talking to people. One of my favorite lines is Steve Krug's book title, Don't Make Me Think. Here's a screenshot, or here's an image of it out of Amazon. I love this line. Don't make me think is a perfect philosophy on what the user should be saying to the designer. Don't make me think. If the application knows something, make it obvious to me. If the application needs to inform me of something, don't make me go digging for it, just present it to me. So let's take a look at that screen again. This makes me think. This makes me look through this whole bunch of things in this screen, all these buttons, these, why do I even have this graphic for the animation of the pages sliding by under the magnifying glass? I don't need that anymore. That's a lot to look at. Get rid of it. Clean this thing up. Make it easier for me to find what I'm looking for. So let's look at a proposed design. When the application is done, tell the user what the result is. All I want to know as a user is, did you find anything? So here we are, no viruses found. Perfectly clear. I also threw in a line that says what was scanned and the name of the directory. I took away the graphic of the pages sliding underneath the magnifying glass. I took away some of the other fields. Don't need them. Let's focus on what the user cares about at this point in time. So that's a pretty simple upgrade. We didn't need any flash animation. We didn't need anything fancy. This is a very simple solution. It would be very easy to code. Highly recommended. Super simple. Make the user happy. Since we're bleeding all over this application, let's look at the title bar. This is also an improvement. I propose that it actually should say virus scanned and 0 found on this page. Let's take a closer look at that. These are from the original application. So when I triggered it, it opened a window, and in that window title bar, it says on-demand scan progress. So it's a fairly good window title. It says scan, which is what I thought I was doing, and it later on there, it gives me the directory that I'm scanning, so that's good. The taskbar item uses the same text as the window title. So the window title is on-demand scan progress, so is the taskbar item. I argue that that's not an ideal title, and let's look at why. So when I launched this application, I right-clicked on the directory that I was interested in, and I chose this menu item, Scan for Threats. That's what I think is going to happen. Those are the words I expect to see, so forth. What it opened was a window that began with on-demand scan. Now, why is it calling it on-demand? The application developer says, well, technically this is an on-demand application. The user demanded a scan. So that's where the on-demand came from. But I would argue that's an inconsistent use of terms. The user has selected a menu item, scan for threats, but the application is using the words on-demand scan. I don't think that's a perfect match. I propose these more informative titles. While the scan is running, I propose that the window title be virus scan in progress and the name of the directory that it's working on. Then, with that window title, the taskbar says virus scan in progress. Now, what's useful about that is if you kicked off this virus scan on a really big directory, and it's going to run for 10 or 15 minutes, you're not going to just sit there and watch it. You're probably going to go work on something else. So to have this informative title in the taskbar is very useful because you might be reading email. You can glance down at that taskbar item and see, oh, it's still running. I haven't got a result yet. It's still in progress. Same thing with when the application's completed scanning. I think the window title should change. Still says virus scan, so it's recognizable. But now give me the quantity of viruses found, in this case 0 found. Again, at a glance, down to your taskbar, you can see, oh, my virus scan process is at 0 found. It's done. Hallelujah. No viruses. Life is good. So, in summary, feedback should be timely and informative. Timely, I think we're accomplishing that in the taskbar by changing the window title and consequently the taskbar title. We see, while it's running, that it's still running. We see when it's done, that it's done. It should be informative. Here it's informative because when we look at this window, it says no viruses found. Very clear, very obvious. Thank you, and if you're interested in writing me with any comments or questions, my email address is stephen@uiinsight.com.